Alright folks, so I'm going to give the Disco 2 a service. In this video I'll just do the oil and filters, the two filters. I'm going to give it a good checking over anyway, but I'll split the videos up. So yeah, I'm going to drain the oil, and then I'm going to change the centrifugal filter and the oil filter which lives down there. Doesn't look like it's been changed for a while. And just had a quick look underneath. I've seen a little bit of an oil leak. I think it's an oil cooler pipe, so I'll have a quick look at that at the same time. But first I'll go and pull the plug out and drain the oil. Alright, so the drain plug's a 17mm. And with a bit of luck, I'll have to get this straight in the bucket. Alright. And just to help with the aiding with the draining of it, I'll just pull the dipstick and slacken off the filler cap. And that'll just help it drain a bit better. And while it's draining, I'll go and slacken off the centrifugal filter. I might have to take this pipe off here to get into it. Alright, so I'm just going to move this pipe out of the way just to give it a bit easier access. So I'll just slacken this off. That should slide out in there, like so. And now I can get in. Oh, it looks like there's two 10mm bolts there. One there, one there, and that cover will come off. Alright, slacking to two 10mm. Might be worth noting that they don't come all the way out. So this will start moving when you know they're loose. And then you've just got to kind of manipulate this out. Like so. Oh, what's it on that side? And then just pull this filter out. There we go. Alright, so here's the old filter. There's the new filter and the new seal, which sits on there. I'm using Mali parts. Oh, there's the part number there for this one, if you need it. Set your part down. So we've just got to take this old O-ring off. I'm just going to give that a clean up. We don't need that. And the old filter. So that's nice and clean. Put the new O-ring on. I'll give that a smear of clean oil just before I put it on, just to help seat it better. And then obviously that goes in. What I want to do is I want to clean out the pot that sits in. So I don't know if you can see on camera, but because it's quite dark in here with the big bonnet, about there. So there's quite a bit of debris in there that I want to clean out. I don't want to wash it back into the engine, so I'm just going to get some cloth or blue roll and just wipe as much of that out as I can. I'm not sure when that filter was changed last because I don't really have much service history with this thing. So I'll get it as clean as I can anyway before I put the new filter in. Alright, so I've given it a good wipe out. It's actually quite a good idea, this filter. I don't know how often you have to change it, but I suppose for all it costs it would be as well changing it every time you service it, which I think is every 6,000 miles on these engines. So yeah, I'm going to slip in the new filter now. Alright, perfect. Doesn't look like it sits a specific way. And now I'll just slip this back in, like so. And then I'll tighten the two 10mm down. There's not a torque setting for them, so just hand tighten and a little nip up should do it. But if you haven't tightened it enough, you'll know when you fire the engine up again because the oil will leak out the side. Alright, so that filter's all in and the pipe's back on. It was quite an easy filter to change. Only took about 5 minutes with filming, so yeah, pretty straightforward. I did notice that this pipe has been rubbing against the AC pipe. It's not worn through or anything, it's just sitting against it. So I'll have to keep an eye on that, but it shouldn't be too drastic. Now I've got to change the main oil filter there. It looks just as easy. I did see there seems to be a oil down there, but I can't see any oil leaks from any specific component, so I'm hoping that it's just oil that's dripped down when someone's changed this oil filter in the past. So when I change it, I'll clean it all down with brake cleaner, and then I can keep an eye on it in the future and see if it's leaking from anywhere. But yeah, I'll see if I can get into that and get it spun off. Alright, so the filter, it looks like it's easy to get to, but my hand's actually too big to get in there for this pipe. And the tool that I have, the oil filter tool, is one of these, and it's too big and clumsy to get in. I think the ideal tool would be one of the belts that you put around it, which I don't have. I snapped mine on a filter a while back. So I'm just going to do it the old school way, which is basically with a screwdriver. But hopefully it's not too tight and it'll slacken off, so I'll give it a shot. I'll try and set you up so you can see it. I'm just going to tap against one of these grooves. Oh. Yeah, so just now hopefully it's slack enough now. Yeah, it is. Nice. My hands are too big for that small space. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure all that oil that's in there is from that happening in the past. But I'll clean it up anyway. Alright, so here's the new filter, Mali again. And there's the part number, OC298. The original one, well not original, but this one was a Perflux. I don't have much to do with Perflux, so I couldn't say it was good or bad. But for me anyway, I know everyone has their preferences, but for me, Mali is as close to OE as you'll get. So yeah, that's why I use Mali. I didn't actually attempt to get genuine filters for this because I need to get this done before I put the truck to work. So yeah, I just went with Mali. So yeah, I'll put a smear of oil on there. Oh, it's got a spring in it, this one. I might sort of half fill this filter with oil and screw it back on. Alright, that's the new filter on. It's not difficult, but it is awkward. But you can get your hand in here as well, around the back of there, and then a hand in here to help spin it on. But yeah, it's not as easy as the centrifugal one, but yeah, it's just awkward. So now I'm just going to go and put the sump plug back in and fill it with oil. So this is the oil I'm using. Just OE spec stuff, but it's Comma good stuff. 530. It's about 7.2 litres, I think it is. But I've just noticed there's not a washer on the sump plug. So it was oily around the sump plug, but I'm just going to check the bottom of the sump in case it's stuck on there. So I can see the copper washer on there. Crikey. No, okay, that's well in. We'll have to try and get that out somehow. Yeah, so I finally got the washer off the sump. Now I've got umpteen copper washers all over the place, but I don't have any this size, which is a pain. So I went to my local Landy specialist guy and picked up a new sump plug and a washer. It's not quite the same, but it is the Brit part service kit. But I just found an old magnetic sump plug that I used to use in my Vivaro. It looks the same pitch. So I might, the washer fits on that one perfect, so I might just put this magnetic washer in, plug in, sump plug with the new washer. I'll go and try it and make sure it's the same threads, but it looks the same pitch, but if not, I'll just put this new Brit part in. Yeah, it looks alright. So, because this sump plug, the oil was leaking around it, which is because this has been used too many times. These are used once and destroy, just replace it. So hopefully that'll sort one leak out. Just put the new Brit part plug in because the other one's too big actually to go in. It's a 19mm head. Not to worry. And then let's torque to 23 Newton meters, and then I'll just give it a hit, some brake cleaner, and clean up the area. Now put the oil in. Now the oil's all done, so it's time to fire it up. Oil light went out straight away, which is good. So I'll just go around and check all the filters and the plugs, make sure everything's tight and not leaking, and then job done. That's how you change oil. Well, that's how I change oil. I'm just going to check the air filter. It's had a K&N filter installed in it, so it should just be a case of giving it a blowout and a re-oil and then putting it back in. So yeah, let's see what kind of condition it is, because I don't think this thing's been serviced regularly, and I don't obviously want this thing breaking down anytime soon. There's a big ring in there. Right, so here's the K&N filter. Oh, yeah, so that's needing a good clean out. Can you see the colour it's meant to be? So I'll go and clean that up, and then give the airbox a blowout. It looks pretty clean in there. I'll give it a blowout anyway. So I cleaned the air filter and put it back in. I don't have any oil to oil it, but it's still pretty oily anyway. But I will get some for the next service. So I've just checked all the fluids and give the engine bay a little bit of a clean up. One of the other things I want to do really soon is change the coolant. So I was just looking for the bleed screws. There's obviously one there, and there's a drain screw underneath I noticed, because it's just got water in it, which I don't like. So yeah, that'll be one of the next jobs that I do, one of the next videos. So yeah, not a difficult job. Changing oil filter, pretty straightforward. I'm sure there's loads of videos on YouTube how to do it, but well, I'm just documenting the jobs that I do in my disco, so if it helps you, it helps you. If it's boring, then it's boring. It is what it is. But anyway, just for watching. I'll get some more videos out on this thing shortly.